Ella Josephine Baker, born in 1903 in Norfolk, Virginia, is what I like to call the original organizer. She paved the way for so many notable activists that we revere today. Ella Baker's grandmother was enslaved, and the stories that she was told about the resilience and rebellion that it took to survive slavery radicalized her at a very young age. This all gives context for her worldview and model for organizing that largely centered the most marginalized. Ella was involved in youth and student-centered activism all throughout her career at Shaw University in North Carolina. After college, she was involved in the Young Negroes Cooperative League and several women's organizations that she organized to fight the hunger, poverty, and general economic instability that Black families were facing at the time. This gave her the experience and training she needed to prepare for the civil rights movement to come. She joined the NAACP in 1940 and fought against the bureaucracy and sexism that ran rampant throughout the organization. She was focused on training young people and teaching them how to organize within their communities. Her work and worldview inspired those like Rosa Parks, who she personally mentored, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who she worked with and often clashed with due to sexism and the conservative nature of the church. Her ideas were radical because she pushed against the idea that there needed to be leadership and a centralized hierarchy in movement spaces. In her own words, she thought, strong people don't need strong leaders. She continuously challenged those around her to open their purses and put money into organizing in poor communities, so that activism was accessible and centered those that needed it the most. The best way to get a true understanding of Miss Baker's worldview is through some of her most notable quotes. You didn't see me on television, you didn't see news stories about me. The kind of role that I tried to play was to pick up pieces or put together pieces out of which I hoped organization might come. My theory is strong people don't need strong leaders. I have always thought what is needed is the development of people who are interested not in being leaders as much as in developing leadership in others. These two quotes demonstrate just how important it was for Baker to not have a true sense of leadership in any organization, but for members of the organization to all hold some leadership role in it. He also says, I didn't break the rules, but I definitely challenged. In order for us as poor and oppressed people to become part of a society that is meaningful, the system under which we now exist has to be radically changed. It means facing a system that does not lend itself to your needs and devising means by which you change that system. And lastly, one that I feel is quintessential to her entire brand as an activist. Oppressed people, whatever their level of formal education, have the ability to understand and interpret the world around them, to see the world for what it is, and move to transform it. All in all, Ella Baker was not focused on being the most liked, being the most revered, or being the richest. Her entire goal was to put activism in the hands of those that needed it the most.